This week's episode is sponsored by Helio Gas Detection. Hey everyone, this is Light from the Smash and Skull Sessions. I'm joined by Al from We Lost the Sea. Al, how you doing?
Yeah, great, thanks. How are you?
I'm all good as well. Now, I have to say, Mark was on before with the other host, Pat, about 3 years ago.
Yep.
So it's always nice to have bands come back, but we've got Al this time, so a very warm welcome.
Thank you. About 15 years less life experience than Mark at my end, because I'm a bit younger than the other guys. So, yeah, this is the episode for the kids, I guess.
Yeah, young host, young guest, you know, this is one for the was it the Zoomers? The Zoomers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so welcome to the podcast. To the listeners who maybe haven't heard of you guys before, could you introduce yourself and your role in the band?
Yeah, cool. So I'm Al. I play drums in We Lost the Sea, and We Lost the Sea is I guess it's an instrumental post-metal band from Sydney, Australia. So I'd say we're like movie soundtracks, but with heavy riffs. Basically, if you like Russian Circles or you like the heavier side of Sigur Rós, then you'll probably like our band.
I love Russian Circles, so when I heard the new album, I was like blown away. Like, I was like, God, I dig this so much.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That's very nice.
So you guys have just released your new album, A Single Flower, and it came out the 4th of July, last Friday. Congrats. How was the recording process for it?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned Russian Circles, because basically like the week we started pre-production, we actually went and saw them live in Sydney. So I reckon the heavy bass tones of Brian Cook certainly influenced a lot of what we were doing. But no, the recording was great. It's the first LP that I've ever been a part of with any band. So like I can't really speak to how it compares to the other processes that the guys have been through, but we basically had 4 week, like we've all got full-time jobs, so it's very much the kind of thing where we do this band when we have time. But we did about 4 weekends at this great studio in Sydney called Rancom Studios, where we just locked ourselves away for 3 days at a time. Our producer Tim Carr just basically hit record, and we deconstructed a bunch of demos and rewrote them, and the final result is what you hear. So it was a very, like, you know, at risk of sounding like literally every other band ever, it was an organic process. But it was really great. Like a lot of ideas that we had in the moment made the final cut of the record. Like we sort of recorded all the beds. When I say beds, I mean like the drums and bass and rhythm guitars. We recorded them all live. We gave ourselves lots of room to improvise a little bit in terms of little flourishes here and there. So a lot of drum fills that I kind of did off the cuff are now what I have to play for the next 5 years. So yeah, it was great. It was really, really great.
That's good. And what sort of kit was you working with?
I was playing a Ludwig, which was great. And again, like, sorry to harp on Russian Circles, but basically the reason I was doing that is because I saw Dave from that band rocking this amazing Ludwig with a 24-inch kick, and I was like, that is exactly what I'm going to do for this new record. So, yep, just for any drum nerds out there, just a 5-piece with a 14, 16, and 18 tom, 24-inch kick, Super John Bonham style. Nice bell brass snare. It was great.
I mean, like, the reason you chose that kit was because you saw Russian Circles. The reason I chose my kit, I'm a drummer as well, because I play Tama, and it was literally like,
yep.
Lars Ulrichs plays Tama, Matt from Periphery plays Tama. It's like every drummer I love plays Tama. So I was like, yeah.
Of course. Of course. I mean, Lars in the 80s in particular, man, on that live record, live shit, that's it. That's the moment for Tama, I reckon.
Yeah, it sounds monster on that recording. I don't know how they got it sounding so good. Who knows?
Probably
that's just
millions of dollars of budget.
It's before triggers as well, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a favorite memory from the recording process?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I think probably the day we finished the record, because as I said a few seconds ago, like this is the first full LP I'd ever done. And, just to sort of be a little bit self indulgent for a minute, I didn't realize for me personally how much of a big deal recording a record was. So, like, I'm 30 years old. The rest of the guys are a tiny bit older, and they've been able to tour the world and all that kind of thing. And I'm really just getting started with that entire process. I think the day that I finished tracking my parts, and the final song I recorded was the last song, Blood Will Have Blood, which is this big 27-minute epic. I just had this immense feeling of accomplishment and like, I don't care what someone on Sputnik Music says about it. Like, I've been able to do a full length LP, and that's the kind of thing that I would love to have told my music teacher from when I was in primary school. So yeah, I think that sense of accomplishment was really big. I think the other memory though, actually it's just come to me, was I very much respond in the moment when I'm recording anything to what I'm listening to at that point in time. So I really got into Sigur Ros's Untitled record while I was recording A Single Flower. And the song Everything Here Is Black and Blinding has this section right in the middle of it where I basically just rip off Untitled number 8 from that album. And I think being able to find or have a band click for me that I tried to get into for so long, and then I finally got, and then also being able to then go straight into a studio and just basically copycat something off that, or rather use that inspiration straight away, I think for me was really, really special. Like a lot of musicians don't get the opportunity to kind of capture exactly what's inspiring them at that exact moment on a recording. So to be in a position where we were recording an album where I was able to do that was something that's, I think, is going to stick with me for quite a while. Hopefully, I mean, I would love to play a show of Sigur Rós, but if we're ever on a festival with them in the future, I think I'd feel a little bit awkward just being like, well, hey mate, I've just completely stolen your parts. So
You'll just have one sweaty music nerd come up to you after the gig and be like, I know you stole bar 107 to bar 202.
Yeah, bar 600, given their songs go for 15 minutes, but yeah.
And you mentioned that 27-minute epic. Like, did you record that all in one take, or did you break it up into little manageable pieces?
So, I mean, from my own memory of this process, my drums are basically strung together from about 3 different takes of that song. So that tune, and I guess with the record in general, everything that we did, we really knew what we were going to do well in advance. Like we wrote a lot of the album in the studio, but the ideas were all there already. And particularly with Blood Will Have Blood, that was actually my audition song. So when I joined the band, I got sent that song with the drums taken out of it. And Mark, the guitarist, basically just said, man, just do whatever you want to this. It's totally cool. And what I did in my audition was basically what I played on the record. So that was nice for me because it only took an hour of my life. I think for the other boys, having to do overdubs was a little bit more painful. And to be honest with you, we're so proud of that piece of music, and I can't wait to play it live all around the world. But whenever we start it in the rehearsal room, it's like, cool, man, I'll speak to you in half an hour. It feels like a big commitment to play that. But we very much dug our own grave with that, I think.
But it's absolutely epic. As you said, 27 minutes, that's an achievement.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, a few reviews have said this as well, but there was a big Godspeed You Black Emperor influence happening in the band. I know they're Mark's favorite bands as well. And he was really sort of the main songwriter of that tune. So, they're the ones to blame if anyone thinks that song's too long. So,
I can imagine in the studio Mark going, just let me do the thing. Just let me do the thing. Please, please.
Yeah, exactly. That was basically what was happening.
And you mentioned it earlier. Everything Here Is Black and Blinding. That's actually my favorite song off the record.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Of course, no
Yeah, I mean,
worries.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, like I was just gonna say, I was a little bit like because I was just a fan of the band before joining. I wasn't sure how people were going to respond to that because it's a little bit like I think it's different to what the band's done in the past, but other people might have different opinions to that.
sure, who knows? And how did you come into contact with the guys? How did you end up like, joining the band and auditioning?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone who joins a band that they're a fan of has a wildly different story. For me, I've been a fan of the boys since I was 18. So basically, from when Departure Songs came out, I was doing my final school exams here in Australia, and so the last stuff of David Shaw got me through what's called the HSC over here, which was pretty cool. Um, but I came into contact with them because I had worked as a stage tech for our manager Mike Solo's band Furnace and the Fundamentals. So Mike Solo owns Birds Robe Records, who we're signed to in Australia, and Mike's also our manager. And I'd helped out on a couple of shows for his band that he plays drums for, and I'd also helped out with another band called Sleep Makes Waves on a couple of tours that they had done as well. So I was very much just like a dude sort of in that scene. And the only way that I was able to get work helping out with like load ins and load outs and the occasional, fixing little snafus on stage was because basically from the age of 16, I'd just been going to shows all the time and hanging around at the merch desk and being, quite frankly, a little bit of a punish to all of Mike's bands. Yeah, so I did a couple of tours just helping out. Mike knew that I was a drummer and that I was doing a little bit of session work in Australia and that I was keen to find a band to commit to long term. And I remember getting a text message from him 2 years ago saying, there's a band that I'm managing who are looking for a new drummer. I don't want to tell you who it is yet because, it's a bit of a it's a big deal for them. It would be a big commitment. But is this something that you're interested in? And I remember at the time thinking, I really hope that this is We Lost the Sea that Mike's talking about. And that's absolutely no slight on, the band's old drummer or anything like that. It was purely a matter of because I was already a fan and I knew that Tim from Sleep Makes Waves wasn't going anywhere. And then a couple of days later, I got a text message from Matt Harvey, our guitarist, introducing himself and asking if we could have a phone call. So we had a chat. And he basically just said, look, man, like we're going to audition a bunch of people and we'd like to invite you. And this was right around the time that I'd been reading Ray Luzio, who plays drums for Korn. I've been reading about how he got his Korn gig. And the band had asked him to learn 3 songs and Ray turned up knowing about 20 songs. And that really gave him an edge in that audition. So I turned up to my We Lost the Sea audition. I got asked to learn 3 tunes and I learned 8 tunes and was like, cool, I just want to show these boys that I'm super, super keen, even though I'm way younger than these guys, like just make it really clear that, I'll go above and beyond for this. So that's basically, yeah, that's how it all happened. And like, I guess within that, I would encourage any listener who wants to get into a band that they're a fan of to like, just say hey after shows and be aware, try and make those people aware of who they are. And then if you get a chance to audition for bands, do double the amount of work that they ask you to do and make yourself undeniable. So yeah, that's how it happened for me. And then I found myself sitting on stage about to play Challenger Part 1. And, the last time I'd heard that song live, I'd been a punter in the crowd. So it was a really, really cool experience.
That does sound really cool, but I love what, as you said, like they gave you a phone call and all that. I've noticed a lot of bands nowadays, they're opening their social media, being like, we're looking for someone, send us you playing the song on email and all that. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Primus did that recently.
Primus, yeah. And I think Archspire did it as well.
I mean, that's mental though. Like anyone who can play 350 BPM deserves that gig. Like there's probably only 10 people in the world who can do that in the first place.
But I do wonder how many submissions they get.
Yeah, I think it's so with Primus, I remember just following them on social media. I think they got about 5,000 or something like that. Like it's pretty, there's a lot of drummers out there who are keen for it. And I reckon it's also like, I guess the ultimate example of this is Dream Theater doing their drum auditions in the prog world like 15 years ago now. And I guess having that open auditions thing, it's good for PR. People are keen on it. So I reckon that's part of it too.
I remember I go back maybe to that series once a year where they audition all the drummers because they have them all up on YouTube. And it's just
the Dream Theater one?
The Dream Theater one, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And it's just amazing to just like watch them like play with them all and then be like pros, cons, and then but the first time I watched it I was like, it's always gonna be Mike Mangini.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, you can go onto Reddit, and I think Thomas Lang's done a bit of a AMA about it as well, where I think the vibe was pretty clear that it was going to be Mike Mangini even before some of the other people got there. But it's still, it's such inspiring watching. Like that scene where Mike gets the call, that's what everyone dreams of.
Exactly. Like I think I read somewhere that Thomas was offered it, but he wasn't given the amount of freedom that he wanted to do his other bands, so he had to turn it down, and then they went to Mike.
Wow, I didn't know that. There you go.
There you go.
I mean, he's such a powerhouse, so I'm not surprised.
So they must have offered him it. He must have turned it down and then filmed the ending of it and be like, "Oh yeah, Mike's our guy."
Well, they ended up getting Mike back, the other Mike, so it didn't really matter.
I just think it's so funny when bands replace like a member that has the same name. It's like, oh, Mike Portnoy's gone. Here comes Mike Mangini.
It's so confusing. It's so Spinal Tap, isn't it?
It is. If you could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. They're both alive. And I feel like I'm just going to give the most basic answer here, but like Trent Reznor is one of them. Surprise, surprise! Someone who plays in a sort of post whatever band wants to collaborate with the guy from Nine Inch Nails. But I'm also like a huge Steven Wilson fan, and I think what I love about him, Steven Wilson's my favorite musician ever. I think what I love about him is that he just knows what he wants. He knows what he wants from his players. Like the term collaborate for me is a little bit different because I'm just a drummer. I can't sit down with somebody and write a demo or write a tune on the keys or guitar or whatever. All I can do is session for somebody. So I guess if I could reframe your question, and if I could session for anyone, it would be either like a Trent Reznor or a Steven Wilson, because I just think both of those men are absolute visionaries in what they're doing. I also think Chelsea Wolfe's absolutely amazing. She's someone else who I would love to dep for, because I think Jess, her drummer, absolutely rules, and no one should ever take that gig away from her.
They're all pretty solid picks. Did Nine Inch Nails bring their world tour to Australia? They came to Ireland last month.
Oh my gosh, no! I think because it's just so expensive for artists to come down here. I mean, we've been going over the budget to go to North America next week, and it's expensive for us to go anywhere too. But no, Nin have not announced anything yet. I believe last time they came to Australia was 13 years ago, and they had Queens of the Stone Age supporting them. So I think it's going to be a pretty big deal when they eventually come down here. Did you go when they were in Ireland?
No, I'm not a big Nine Inch Nails fan, so I didn't want to take the ticket away from someone who actually wanted to go, just to be like, oh, I saw Trent Reznor live.
That's fair enough.
I know 2 songs from them. Sorry, I lied. 3.
Okay.
The Animal one that I can never remember the name of.
Lysa, yep.
Hurt and
Yep.
Starsuckers.
Yep. Oh yeah, Starfuckers, I believe. Is what it's called, actually.
Starfuckers, yeah.
So I hope that doesn't mess up the whatever you have to like tick for this.
I don't have to censor it, Gran. I just thought I thought it was genuinely called Starsuckers.
Oh, it's a tune. Great riff.
It is 100%. But I've just noticed a lot of bands like, I think A Day to Remember visited Australia recently.
I think so. I think they came out for Knotfest. I'm just gonna do
some
live
research.
Yeah, I think they might have. I'm not huge into A Day to Remember, to be perfectly honest, but I think they came out for Knotfest 2 years ago. So that would have been, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Because a lot of the bands seem to do like Singapore, like Japan and all that in the same run as Australia.
Big time. Yeah. Sometimes you get some rough ones where you have artists just doing Fuji Rock in Japan, which is a big festival in July, and they probably like sign some clause where they're like Oceania exclusive. So then Australia misses out as always. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I don't know what it's like for an artist touring Australia because I live in Australia. Like, maybe we've got crazy work visa fees for artists. So, like, sorry if that is you.
Because I know what kills a lot of bands coming over here is insurance.
To Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe. Like, as far as I'm aware, it's just part of the EU, right? So you just do the same. You can just route it all the same. I think for us, what is really hard is like, because Australia just has a smaller market for the arts in general, it's harder to make a full-time or even a part-time career out of doing music. So a lot of us have to work. Like, cost of living is really high down here, as it is with any like isolated island nation, like Iceland or New Zealand or whatever.
Or Ireland, yeah.
Or Ireland, yeah, there you go. So we all have to work full-time jobs and take leave and stuff like that, which means that we can only tour for certain amounts of time before we're going to be back at the desk. But also, when we do those tours, we've got to maximize our earnings. And so we're kind of in this like rock and hard place where it's like, you know, we want to try and do 14 shows in Europe in a row, but then we might only have 15 days to be able to tour, and it takes 2 days to get over there in the first place. So that's often what hurts us. So we're trying to, like, I think what we've decided to do is take a bit of a longer album cycle with a single flower. Like, we'll probably, you know, when most bands will do like 2 years of full-time touring, we'll probably do like 4 or 5 years before we put another record out. So yeah.
That's totally fair, and it lets people, like, you know, enjoy it before people, like, I know some bands, they get into the routine of tour cycle, back to the studio, album, tour, like the 3-year rule, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah. And if you can afford that, that's great. And if you can maintain a relationship or a home life or your friendships as well, that's also really great. But I think increasingly so many artists are finding they have to find these little compromises. I think for us, we're away for like 6 weeks this year, and like, that's plenty. And we're still going to be able to see all the world and see all the markets, and hopefully everyone who wants to see us is going to be able to see us at some point. They just might have to wait a little bit longer between drinks than usual.
That's fair. And speaking of like festivals and stuff, you've mentioned Fuji Rock in Japan. Did anything ever replace Soundwave that was in Australia?
Oh my gosh. I mean, so much nostalgia even just talking about Soundwave. Sort of. So we had Download for 2 years out here, and that was unreal. Like, I think the first one was, I think Limp Bizkit might have headlined the first one. And then the second one was in 2019 or 2020. So, you know, right before things went a little bit awkward with live events. And I remember that was like Slayer's final show in Australia, at least for the time being. And Ghost were out for that. And Code Orange were out, and Behemoth. And it was so great. And that really felt like a replacement. It was like, oh, we've got like a heavy festival now. And then post-pandemic, it never came back. We have had Knotfest for the past few years down here, which has been great. And we've got a festival it's usually in like March called, or maybe it's in like November. We've got another heavy festival called Good Things as well. So I think those will always exist down here. I reckon the issue is heavy artists only visit Australia when there's a festival to offset the cost of traveling here. Like, it's not a dearth of heavy music festivals that are a problem. I think it's actually a dearth of other artists touring and being able to make that a viable option when it's not a festival to sort of balance that out. But yeah, so I would say like, Good Things and Knotfest are kind of our two replacements.
That's fair enough. And speaking of Australia, you guys are from Sydney. What's your favorite thing about Australia?
I'm a huge cricket fan. I don't know.
So is my dad.
Go down. Oh, brilliant! You know, Ireland's on the way up with cricket, actually. So I love going to a test match every year. The coffee in Australia is really great, I gotta say. Like, I know that's probably not what people think about. I mean, the weather's so good. The beaches are really good. I was on a flight just the other day, and I was flying over Cronulla Beach, which is like slightly south of Sydney, and I was like, every other city in the world that I've ever flown into does not have a view of rolling waves like we do. So I think, yeah, beaches, coffee, cricket, and Parkway Drive. They're the four things that I think are my favorite about living down here.
Parkway Drive, the poster boys of Australian metal.
Of course.
And what's it? My dad, he's actually a British cricket supporter because he's from Birmingham.
Oh.
So he's being tortured at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he wouldn't have enjoyed last week.
But it's nostalgic for me because summertime always means cricket season.
Yeah. Oh, of course. It's the best. I mean, like down here, I know this isn't what people probably want to listen to, but like the whole country's super into it down here. So yeah, it's great. I'm actually going to we're about to go to America and then we're going to England afterwards, and I'm going to go to a few games in England. So yeah, it should be great. What
test will be on when you're in England, if there is any?
Oh, I'm going to go to a 100 game. So that's like English domestic. So I'm right into it. Yeah.
Are they way funner anyway?
Yeah, exactly. It only gets like 3 hours. I'll take my wife. She won't get too bored, so that'll be good.
What is it? Australia has their version of it as well. I can't
BBL.
The BBL, yeah, that's it.
That's the one. Yep. Roll on Sydney Thunder.
I love cricket. It's so underrated.
Oh, so good. Makes my heart sing to you say that.
Exactly. Do you have any favorite album releases of 2025 so far, or any that you're looking forward to?
Oh, man.
It's all the hard questions, I know.
There's a band from the UK called Love Is Noise. Do you know them?
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's one of the members. I could be wrong here, but I think I'm right. It's one of the members from the band Lotus Eater, I think. And their record To Love in a Different Way is unbelievably good. It's like a mixture of Deftones meets My Bloody Valentine, just like huge soaring melodies, but then occasionally you've got this like absolutely crushing sort of like White Pony-ish riffage going on as well. So I think that's one of my favorite records of the year. I think that new Viagra Boys record is great. Like Viagra Bees, whatever they call it. I think that's really, really good. On the metal end of the spectrum, like to talk about Dream Theater again. I think Dream Theater's latest record is really, really cool. Parasomnia, I've enjoyed that a lot. Malevolence have got a really cool new record coming out. Like I love their sort of like heavy metalcore stuff. Oh, and like the latest Death Heaven, Lonely People with Power is absolutely amazing. I think that's one of the best heavy records I've heard in a long, long time. So I think those would be my main ones. But I think Love Is Noise is what's really tickled my fancy this year.
They're all pretty solid choices. I'm just like, it'll be out by the time this episode is out, but like T-minus 24 hours for the new Deftones song.
Yeah, totally. That'd be sick. Super excited. I really loved Ohms, that last record they did. I think it was really, really cool. Didn't get to see them when they toured here, unfortunately.
Same, bro. Same.
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
Yeah, it was. I remember when I got the announcement that they'd actually cancelled their free arena show. I was in geography class in school, and I actually just started crying.
Yeah, I mean, people cry with their music anyway, right? So it's kind of everyone's emotional with Deftones.
Yeah, my teacher was like, "Are you okay?" I was just like, "Deftones cancelled. You wouldn't understand. Just let me be."
I just wanted to hear Head Up live.
And we're on to our last question. Do you have any advice for anyone wanting to start a band in 2025?
Yeah, I think listen to as much music as you possibly can. So I think regardless of what genre you want to play, like whether you want to be a death metal shredder or, release the next version of Brat or whatever, just expand your musical horizon and copy everybody. So like like again, when I was tracking a single flower, I was absolutely consuming music at a rate that I probably never have before. So I was getting into post rock more than ever, which makes sense because I'm in a post rock band. But I was listening to heaps of pop. I was listening to a lot of classical music. I was listening to a lot of jazz. I was trying to get into more hip hop. I just think the more reference points you have, the more excited you'll find that you are about the possibilities of what you can do within your own world of music. I think the other advice I give would be to like get a job to fund it. Like it's really tempting just to take shortcuts and be like, no, I'll get my friend to mix my song for free or whatever. And like, I know that this sounds like a fairly privileged thing to say, but clear some time in your schedule, get a job, you know, making coffee 2 or 3 days a week if you need to or whatever, and set aside some money to be able to do it properly, get someone pro to mix it properly, and give your art the best chance it can to look or rather sound as good as it can. So yeah, and just like the more you invest, the more potential you have to get out of it. So those have been my two things. Find a flexible job, but also like listen and consume as much as possible, and don't just listen to what you're making. Like if you're in a heavy band, listen to classical music, listen to jazz music, listen to pop, because like you'll learn something from every record you ever listen to. And like, I feel like I took too long to get into more stuff, and I feel like I'm playing catch up now, and I can't believe how many ideas it's given me to put onto the drum kit for my own style of music. So those are my two main pieces of advice.
Yeah, I know that last one of like, you know, getting to as much music as possible really resonates with me, because it wasn't until I was 16 I really started to like broaden my horizons. Because like when I was
same. I was 16. Yeah.
when I got into music like properly, I was 12, and then I was like, okay, I can only listen to heavy music. Like I can't listen to any pop or anything. And then when I turned 16, it just came, maybe I should, you know?
Yeah. 100%. I used to never listen to heavy music that didn't have guitar solos in it. I don't even play guitar. I don't know why I was so snobby about it. And then I ended up missing this entire like kind of the last wave of pre cookie cutter metalcore because I was too snobby about it, and I missed all these amazing shows I could have gone to. I missed out on this entire realm of influence I could have gotten into, let alone all the cool stuff that was happening in indie music in 2010 or whatever. So yeah.
It's like Attack uses keyboard? No.
Yeah. Skinny jeans, get out of here.
Al, thank you so much for taking the time out your night to talk to me.
That's fine. Thanks for having me.
No worries. And A Single Flower is out now.
Hell yeah.